Welcome back to Tape Don't Lie. Tim Doyle, Cam Smith, running through these highlights of the senior edition of Tape Don't Lie. We focused in on Udoka Azubuike, who led Kansas to that #1 spot in the country. But right behind Kansas was Killian Tillie and the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Tim, this guy was phenomenal as a senior, one of the best skill sets that we've seen from the upperclassmen.
Yeah, this was a Gonzaga team that really wasn't expected to do much, and they had so many new guys and transfers and different pieces. And talking with other guys that matched up against Gonzaga this year, they thought that was the best offensive team in the country. And a guy like Tillie, each of his 4 years at Gonzaga, shot over 40% from three. When he's been healthy, he's been really good.
Tim, you hit it right on the head. It's shooting. And for Killian Tillie, that's what separates him from a lot of prospects entering the NBA draft. And it's a big reason why my college basketball career stopped at Southern Illinois University. I wish I could shoot like that with range.
The form is like flawless here. And you could tell if you're a defender, you know the scouting reporters, this guy's a better than 40% three-point shooter. How did two guys run at the ball? No! Like, as he's shooting it, that's when, like, the slow motion voice, like, no, get a hand up on him. Like, as he's, like, canning down another three. This is what the game has become. Big guys that can not only pick and roll, but now I feel like, Cam, is it more important to pick and pop than pick and roll?
Oh, yeah, pick and pop. That's what the NBA game is. If you can stretch the defense like this, and what I love about Tillie on that play was after the screen, he creates space. So it makes that help defender that's guarding the ball screen have to cover a lot of ground. And on this situation here, it's the same thing. He screens, pops out. Look at that help defender. He's so deep into the paint that he doesn't even know where Tillie is. So that's why things go in slow motion, as you mentioned, Tim. Like, whoa, getting ready to be put on the bench. Coach is going to sub me out. Killian Tillie's like, dude, you got to read the scouting report. Now I'm going to make you pay.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like neurotic how he's always trying to set a ball screen. Like, it's like he's just trying to just like find the ball screen every single time. I mean, this is an ability just to go way out. And hey, the NBA 3 is way out. Like, you talked about finding that space. This is a guy who has a niche. Like, we talk so much about D and 3 guys. This guy has Kelly Olynyk written all over him. Kelly's had a really successful career. He's had some big games. He's been a starter. He's been on really good teams. Like, I don't know if that's the lazy way out because Olynyk's a Gonzaga guy too, but he's the first guy that comes to mind when I watch Tillie.
Hey, it's what Mark Few produces over there in the Pacific Northwest. But Killian Tillie is a guy that, again, can add value to a team. It doesn't matter what role you put him in the front court. If you can space the floor, like a Max Keebler for the Dallas Mavericks, like that's another good comparison. And how Keebler's able to spread the floor with this size. You make shots, you can extend your career. It doesn't have to be just in the NBA, but if Tillie goes overseas, he's from France, he's an international guy, he's going to find a home somewhere in the top league.
Yeah, I mean the shooting is a no-brainer. The biggest thing that when I talk to scouts is they have been ultra impressed with his lateral movements, his quickness. Some would call it deceptive. I don't want to do that, Cam, but they are surprised how athletic he is. The big elephant in the room is, can he stay healthy? I don't know that. You know what I mean? And no one's body really knows, you know, what you're going to be able to withstand over the course of 82 games or how many games the NBA is going to be playing for the next couple of seasons. But if he can stay on the floor, he is a proven commodity that he can help any team.
Tim, we looked at Killian Tillie's ability to shoot the basketball, but you talked about the games that he missed as a junior. He missed 22 games as a junior, but I think that allowed him, one, to recover and get healthy, but also add pieces to his game. And one of those big pieces was this, taking defenders off of the bounce. They know that you can shoot. NBA scouts, NBA GMs know that. What can you do when you put the ball on the floor? This has to impress you, though, Tim. It has to.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have something in your bag. Like, that's why I believe basketball is the hardest sport to play, because you can't just do one thing. No offense, football, all right? But, like, you got to have that versatility to do other things. Now, you could do one thing really well, but you also got to have some things in your bag. Like if someone's really pressing up on you, like on this particular play, you're able to go by them enough. And then you got to be able to finish. So putting the ball on the floor with your opposite hand, like you can see the defender's like, all right, I'm going to try to get 2 feet above the 3-point line. And this time he's able to just do enough. And that's really all he needs to do.
Right. A couple of dribbles and he's right to the rim. And I love that you bring up the bag reference because we need the bag emoji for Killian Tillie. And that's what he's going inside. And if you got that in your bag, you're going to get drafted into the NBA. Like GMs want to take a chance on a guy that can do this, that can one shoot, but can also take contact. You see it there, but then rise above and get a little air for that dunk.
I'll say this right now. If he stays healthy, whether it's playing in the NBA for 12, 13 years or playing overseas or doing a little bit of both. We've watched Nikola Mirotic have success in the NBA with the Bulls. Now he's gone back overseas and he's having a successful run playing overseas because of his versatility and size and athleticism. If he can stay healthy, like he's good. Like the rest of his life, he'll never make as much money that he's going to make in the next 12 years because he could be a professional basketball player for sure.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite highlights, and Tillie definitely will have a long career no matter where he plays. But this is a pro move. You hear guys talk about pro moves all the time, and that's a pro player, that's a pro move. This is a pro move because, one, he baits his defender in, has that contact there, and the defender's fighting with him. But check out the release that he has and creates that separation. Look how smooth that jumper is. That's like Tim Doyle back in his Northwestern days, around that paint area, around that free throw line elbow area, and knocking that down.
You know what I love about that play, and I'll go with the Tim Doyle reference here, was he recognized the mismatch. And when you're 6'11" and you get that switch, you got to start yelling for the ball in the house. You know what I used to yell, Cam? I used to say, mouse in the house. That means get me the ball right now. I got an advantage down low, and I'm going to use my size like Tillie does there. The shooting is what's going to get him drafted. Can he keep up from an athletic standpoint? Can he show that he's more than just a shooter? I think he's got enough in his bag. And watching draft boards, it just seemed like his stock is trending in the right direction.
Now, Killian Tillie's ability to one, shoot the basketball, take guys off the dribble. But this ability here is what's going to impress me and Tim because this is back in our bags, right? It's the passing. Can you pass? Can you see the floor? And that's what this Gonzaga program and Mark Few preaches. You have to be able to move that basketball and get your teammates involved. This play right here initially, Tim, to start off, is just simple. That's basketball one-on-one. You have a second defender that's coming over to help. He leaves his man, pass that ball out, make the easy pass for your teammate for three.
You know, this is going to end up helping him before the draft. And I think what you're talking to, Cam, is the culture at Gonzaga. Like if you play for Mark Few, like you get it. Like another school that just kind of like jumps to the top of my head is Villanova. Like if you play for Jay Wright, and look at all the guys across the NBA that play for Jay Wright, whether it's Brunson or DiVincenzo or Bridges. I mean, they have like a plethora of guys right now in the NBA. But when you draft a Villanova guy, like they just get it. And now Gonzaga is starting to get that same reputation. Is that fair?
No, 100%, because these GMs, these scouts in the NBA, even these coaches, they have relationships with a lot of these college basketball head coaches, like a Jay Wright, like a Mike Krzyzewski, or Tom Izzo. And since we're focusing on Killian Tillie and Gonzaga, they have relationships with Mark Few because why? They produce NBA players. Their guys understand the game. So, Coach, how can he be put into a system or our system that we run? Well, one, for Killian Tillie, he can shoot, so you can plug him in at any spot. You can play pick and pop with him. He can take guys, slower defenders off the dribble, but he can also pass the basketball. And what's the big thing in the NBA, Tim? Is floor spacing. So you have options. You have options, and that's one of the more dangerous things that you can give a basketball player, especially at the size of Killian Tillie at 6'10", where he can see over defenders for passes like that for two.
Yeah, it was a great job because you know he's always looking for that space for his shot there, but against the zone, he found a way to help his teammates. And he's so active as far as moving, whether it's setting a screen, like I talked about, I used the word neurotic because he knows, like, if I set a screen, not only am I helping my teammate, but I'm actually going to help myself. And that's something for young people to know out there is like screening is one of those things that it looks like you're helping someone else, but you're actually helping yourself. His overall feel, and that's why, like I said, the stock keeps rising because he's more than just a spot-up shooter.
Yes, it is. And it's impressive also for a guy to miss 22 games the previous season and come back in ready to play. It's like he didn't miss a beat. So it goes, again, to his work ethic, but also his film study. He's watching a lot of Gonzaga basketball to see how he can fit into this system and, one, truly humble himself. That's what we haven't talked about with Killian Tillie. He had to humble himself because he was out a long time, an extended period of time, his junior season. Now he's plugged back into his senior season, and he's able to regain his footing and regain the trust. So all great qualities for a guy that wants to impress at the next level on the NBA level and make sure that he's plugged into a system where he can thrive.
I think this all comes down to one thing. If I could call in one guy that could help Killian Tillie, it would be Mr. Miyagi. Because at the end of Karate Kid 1, he did something with his hands, and then Daniel's leg felt better. Like, if we could keep Killian Tillie healthy, the sky is the limit for him. So Killian Tillie, close eye, and if you're healthy, you're going to be a heck of a player.